Welcome. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about nutrition and the importance of eating healthily because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what that actually means. And what I mean by that is I think people really think eat healthy, be skinny, eat poorly, be fat. And the truth is that there's a lot more to nutrition than just that. It's not quite that simple. And as important as working out is, I'm here to tell you that your dietary habits are far more important than your exercise routine is. And if I had to pick between one or the other, having a good diet or having a good exercise routine, I would choose the sound diet every single time. No questions asked. With all of this being said, everything that I'm going to say in this video is based around the goal of being as fit and healthy as possible. And as always, we need to define these terms. Because if I don't, two people will hear two different things on what it means to be fit and healthy. Fitness is defined as your work capacity across broad time and modal domains. Health is essentially the same definition. But to be specific, health is defined as your work capacity across broad time and modal domains over the course of your life. So the obvious question is, what is the difference between those two? They sound extremely similar. And the way that I would identify the difference to a layman, I would say that fitness is to health what weather is to climate. For example, just because it's 35 degrees and raining one day in San Diego, California, it doesn't mean that the climate there is typically cold and rainy. In San Diego, it's usually 72 and sunny with a nice breeze. The weather is 35 degrees, but the climate is what you would normally expect when you walk outside, depending on where you are. Now let's look at it in fitness. Let's say that today I'm extremely sore because of a workout that I did yesterday. Therefore, I'm not particularly interested in doing a 20 rep max back squat today. This is the weather. But that's only because yesterday we had a workout with 100 squats in it. Or else ordinarily I'd be more than happy to do a 20 rep max back squat. This is the climate. You get the idea. Now again, everything that I'm going to say revolves around getting fitter and healthier. I'm not interested in telling you how to bulk or cut or XYZ or any other fitnessy nutrition gimmick that you've heard, or anything that has to do with a number on a scale or an aesthetic that you're going for. And this is because I don't really care what you look like. In fact, honestly, I couldn't really care less about what you look like. I'm more interested in what you can do with your body. We have a saying in CrossFit, nice body, what can you do with it? But when I say these things, I get the same reaction from particularly the ladies, like 95% of the time. They say something along the lines of, I want to lose weight. That's what I hear whenever people say that. And there's nothing inherently wrong with it. But the number on the scale isn't what I'm particularly concerned about. I'm really only concerned with finding a body weight that will maximize your performance. Because if we can find that body weight, you'll perform better than ever, you'll feel better than ever, you'll look better than ever, and you'll be healthier than you've ever been. Obviously, there are a lot of different body shapes and sizes out there, so you can't just make a blanket statement of you need to weigh X number of pounds, you need to lose this much weight. There's not a formula that tells you the ideal weight. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Fortunately though, CrossFit is the best for maximizing the performance of whatever type of body that you have. It's what we do best. And how you look afterwards will simply be a side benefit. But your aesthetic is not our goal by any stretch of the imagination. And when it comes to tracking your diet and nutrition, I want you to remember what our North Star is so we can always know what to come back to see if it's working. Our North Star is health and fitness. Are we getting fitter and healthier based on the definitions that I gave earlier? If not, our diet needs adjusting. And if it is working, then we know we're doing something right and we're right on track. But this can get tricky because CrossFit is so effective that you will see improvements without making any changes. If you're coming from a training routine that wasn't CrossFit before and now you're doing CrossFit. You'll get fitter without making any dietary changes for a minute. But if you've been CrossFitting for years and you feel like you've plateaued, it's time to take a look at what you've been putting into your mouth and make some changes because these changes are going to be to your benefit. And the great thing about these benefits is that we can measure them. This is why CrossFit is second to none. We can measure absolutely everything. Nothing is left up to question. We can prove everything that we do. And we are the only people that can say that. So the CrossFit dietary prescription is as follows. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. Keep intake to levels that support exercise and not body fat. The first half of that discusses the quality of food to eat. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. The second half talks about the quantity, how much you would eat. Keep intake to levels that support exercise but not body fat. And honestly, if I ended the video right here, this would be enough information for you to go on and change your health and diet forever. But I've said the CrossFit prescription 10,000 times, and every time I do, people nod their head and smile, then they walk out of the gym and eat 26 different types of garbage that had absolutely nothing to do with the list that I just mentioned there. And this is troublesome because people don't understand the significance of their diets. It's the whole thing I said earlier about if you eat badly, you're fat. If you eat good, you're skinny. There's so much more to it than that. People don't realize the consequences of what eating badly actually does, and I wanted to bring a little bit of awareness to that. And here's an example. Cancer is largely a metabolic disease. And if you want a source on this, look into Otto Warburg. Just Google his name. But what this means is that cancer is often, but not always, but often derived from your lifestyle, aka what you're putting into your mouth. And when I say often, I mean well over half of the time. Now you could say, no, I have bad genetics. My mom had type 2 diabetes, my dad had cancer when he was 33. And these things may be true, but let's say your body is a gun, and each ailment that you've been given genetically is a bullet. So let's say that your gun is loaded. Your behavior is what's going to be what pulls the trigger. These hereditary ailments are far less likely to manifest if you're monitoring your lifestyle via diet and exercise. Can they still happen? Of course, but you aren't giving yourself any real chance if you're filling your body with garbage. Not to get too sciencey in my explanation, this is what the Otto Warburg thing is for. Go look him up if you want like the deep cut information on it. But basically, sugar causes damage to the mitochondria in your cells. You don't need to know what the mitochondria is or what it does, but just keep that in mind. Now, damage to the mitochondria is what causes cancer. Therefore, sugar causes cancer. It's black and white, plain as day, whether you like it or not. Another example. As I'm sure you know, protein is the macronutrient responsible for rebuilding your muscles whenever you recover. We know this, and although we laymen, like myself, may not fully understand the science of how it works, we know it to be true. And if you don't have adequate protein intake, your body won't function properly as it would if it was properly fueled. Now I want you to think about your body as one whole unit, because it is. We know that injuries recover faster when your nutrition is dialed in. We know that inflammation decreases, tumors shrink. Your body can heal itself properly because it works the way that it should when fueled properly. In fact, your brain doesn't even function properly when you're eating garbage, and you can't expect it to. Your food intake is literally retarding your brain. You may be able to hide where you eat, but you can't hide what you eat. And when I see someone who I can tell isn't eating properly, I take what they say with a grain of salt, because I know good and well that their judgment is clouded, and that they can't think as clearly as someone who eats healthily. In fact, I can tell a lot about a person by their dietary choices, because if you can't even control what you put into your mouth, what can you control? How do you expect to have any power in your life if you can't even master yourself? And when I ask you how your nutrition is, it isn't because I don't know. I ask to find out if you're gonna lie to me about it. I can tell by looking at you how your diet is. In fact, I probably know your nutrition better than you do. And as I say this, I'm not sitting here telling you that my nutrition is perfect all the time, because it's not. And it's because of this that I can say that I understand the struggle to eat well. I do eat really well, but at the same time, I won't shy away from a cheat meal. And I can also say that eating healthily freaking sucks. My rule of thumb is that the healthier something is, the worse it tastes. And vice versa, the worse something tastes, the better it is for you. So I get it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I like the taste of the food, because I'm gonna eat what I have to do to eat the right thing for my body to properly work. And again, if you wanna know if your diet is working, ask yourself, am I getting healthier? Am I improving my work capacity across broad time and modal domains? If not, it's time to make a change. Also, your alcohol consumption is stunning your growth and killing you, and there's no way around it. If you drink, you're wasting your time trying to fix the other things in this video. It's literally poison. Thanks for watching. You are going to use your hands. We'll talk about where the hands go in 1 second. But yes, you will be using the hands on this one, preferably.
I don't know what you would use.
Yes, as opposed to what?
With hands. With.
Oh, I see. With
no,
the hands.
not with the hands.
Not with the hands. Well, yes, you will. Yes, with the hands. All right. So what we're going to start off with, as far as the width of the hands go, we want our hands to be just outside of shoulder width.
With our hands.
With our hands, yes.